Live at Onigashima. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Jimmy, and we have chapter 1122. The time is at hand. Just to start out real quick, got the sick ass cover art of Smoker with a little nod to My Hero ending. So RIP My Hero. But we got better things to talk about, like One Piece. So let's get into it.
Yeah, you're gonna be like the cover page, bro. Shonen Jump this week.
Shove Deku to the back.
All right, let's talk about this because Egghead looks like it's ending, and we got some really big developments in this chapter. So at the top of the chapter, you know, we get a little bit of a continuation of Vegapunk's speech, and it's kind of similar to the times when Whitebeard and Roger both you know, made their declarations to the world. It's hyping up the pirates, and everybody's going crazy now. And I think one of the more important things that they showed here is seeing Kobe finally say that he has to stop Luffy. This is like the definitive, like, all right, Kobe's standing up against Luffy. Not that he stands a chance, but
no, not at all. But what I really like about this is, one, I've been wanting to see this from Kobe for a while, because he's known, he's like, hey, I'm gonna have to fight you eventually, and now he's finally making that declaration. But I feel like he's making it for the wrong reasons, because he's only doing this because Vegapunk's like, hey, pirates are gonna rule the world, and he just still has this notion of pirates bad. But yeah. I wonder if he finds out what the One Piece is and like the true meaning of the Void Century, if he's gonna flip towards the end, maybe like mid-fight with Luffy. I don't know, because I don't see it being like a death match. I see it being kind of like a sparring match.
Yeah, I agree. Was he in the last? He was in the panel in the last one, right? So, you know, like in the end panel of the last chapter. So I feel like this is build up for him to actually have this like big climactic thing against Luffy, but we'll see. We also saw Buggy,
the Lord and Savior Buggy. Honestly, he's a very good motivational speaker. It's not my world, it's our world.
Let's go,
like,
dude. Yeah,
he gets the people going.
He does. He honestly does. And then
then
we also
like,
saw
bro,
Teach.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we also saw Teach. You know, we were. He's kind of open to Caribou. We're gonna probably see
Which
Caribou
we figured
join.
was gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is kind of what I thought too. Exactly what he said. He's gonna be like, "Hey, I'll hear him out, and if it's useless, I'm gonna kill him."
Yeah.
But he's obviously not gonna kill him because this is huge information.
Right. Exactly. But then we cut to the most important stuff of the chapter, which is back to the Iron Giant kind of defending the Straw Hats and the Giants and everybody, and they're, you know, they're with him. They're like, Iron Giant, oh my God, you're being destroyed. But then we get this like huge lore dump right from the Iron Giant, basically saying that he failed to make Joyboy the king, and we knew that Joyboy from Vegapunk's speech was the first pirate, right? So he wasn't the king of the pirates, but he was like the first pirate, and so clearly this was Joyboy's crewmate of some kind. But
which we also see later in the flashback. We see him start talking to Joyboy, which was crazy to watch, and actually getting to see like Joyboy talk to somebody else. I mean, we kind of saw it through the poneglyphs when he left the message for Poseidon.
Yeah,
but it's not really the same as actually getting. This is like literally a flashback with Joyboy in it.
Yeah.
And one of the things about that we can clearly see is his size, because everyone theorized, oh, what if he's a giant because of the giant straw hat in Marie Joie? But we can see here he's not nearly as big as Iron Giant. He's about the size of Luffy, which also makes sense. So he's probably just like a normal human that united all these races together, not just like a buccaneer or something.
Exactly. Yeah, I think one really interesting thing about the silhouette in general, this is the first time we're seeing Joyboy, I think. I don't know if we've gotten him before, but it looks like both Luffy and the silhouette that we got of Rocks, right? So we are getting all these parallels for these like potential king of the pirates, and I don't know, there's a lot of theories that, you know, ways you can go down here, but one of my favorites that I've said in the past, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I like to believe that this is literally Luffy and somehow he like went into the past and had like a fight, but I don't know, I feel like there's not enough time in the story.
My only
to do
problem with that is when you start getting backwards time travel involved, it creates really wonky storylines.
Yeah.
And in which case, okay, then why did Luffy even come to the past? If he came to the past because of what's happening in the present, then theoretically there would have been some time where he never did that because nothing went wrong, and the only reason Luffy's doing this stuff is because of the stuff, and it just gets confusing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know if I like that. But one of the things you said was like the parallels with Rocks. Because I think it's like what people have been saying where, yeah, Rocks has been portrayed as this big evil dude, but then like why would somebody like Whitebeard follow him? So I feel like he is more like Luffy and Joyboy, where his ideals got misconstrued by the media, and he's actually not like a terrible person. The only thing kind of against that for me is still that Roger decided to fight him, and right now we think of Roger as like, oh, Roger was kind of maybe not perfectly good in everything, but he's the good guy, right? Like he's the guy we're fighting for.
Right.
So I wonder if that's gonna get flipped on its head at some point when we find out the backstory, because we also know Roger just decided not to tell people about all this.
You think this is gonna be like an evil
happening.
Roger thing? We were talking about evil Shanks for so long. Now we're on evil Roger.
Hey, who knows? He might be evil. Maybe Rayleigh's pretty evil himself.
I mean, hey, he's a devil of a drinker, I guess. But the other thing that I thought was interesting. So we see this like huge Conqueror's Haki blast, right? That,
More
like,
Wi-Fi Haki.
Wi-Fi Haki.
We went from 4G to LTE.
And this is like, you know, pretty easily like one of the best Haki feats that we've ever seen, because these crazy 5 Gorosei, all like, except for Saturn, they all, well, I guess they all they went back into their OG forms, and then 4 of them went back to the castle. And just to note, this is a very like small thing, but when we see them back at the castle, their positions are flipped, where like Mars is sitting down this time instead of standing up, and the other 3 are like standing instead of sitting, which is usually the other way around. But then we see Imu's crazy reaction, and I can't tell if this is like a transponder snail saying something to him, or if this is like another person in the room.
I mean, that to me is clearly another person. That's somebody on the left talking to him.
Yeah.
Which I wonder who that is also, because that shows to me that more people know about Imu than we thought, unless this is one of the Gods Knights, because we know that, or at least I'm pretty sure the Gods Knights know about Imu, and I thought it was just the Gods Knights and then the Gorosei would know about him, but it looks like he also just has random servants also.
Yeah, it's either a random servant, or like, you know, sometimes in media they have like those very, very close personal servants that are just like worshippers or like saints or something. So I don't know who that person is, but more silhouettes for us. And this is leaving Imu shaking. Like, clearly they can recognize the Haki and recognize everything. And he pretty immediately knew also. So like, I guess Imu is also interconnected with the Gorosei mentally, like how they're all telepathic. Maybe like he also knows.
I mean, he must know something, right? He has to have a way to like keep track of the entire world. Like, maybe his observation Haki's super strong. Maybe he has something like Madame Shirley, where she has like a crystal ball type shit where he can see everything. I don't know. But one of the things I wanted to bring up...
I don't necessarily know that, just because... Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I don't necessarily know that just because, like, he didn't know for sure that, like, Sabo was on that island. Like, he knew that he was, like, around that island, but, like, he wasn't able to, like, just get it. It was just, like, he heard a rumor or whatever. So I think it's more likely the case that, like, he's more connected with the Gorosei and felt the Conqueror's Haki through them, because they're, like... You know, they actually like felt the Haki like in person firsthand, and then he had like a physical reaction. So I think it's more likely that like he's connected to them in some way. Either he's like they're his offspring, not offspring, but you know what I mean. Like he granted powers to them, and that's how they're connected, or you know, maybe some other way. Who knows?
Well, one of the things I wanted to say is just with the Gorosei, when they all got sent back, it was interesting how it was all the ones that didn't physically go there themselves. Like Saturn stayed behind, but all the ones who like got teleported over went back. So to me, it seems like that's some temporary thing. I don't know if maybe did they actually get transporter, or if it was just like an illusion of that. Like not illusion, because obviously they were doing damage and hitting stuff. But like some kind of like proxy thing where it wasn't like their actual body, like like a shadow clone or something.
Speaking of shadow clones, you know how weird it is when I saw that Joyboy sealed his Haki inside of the Iron Giant for years? That's some Naruto for sure. Like that's never really been done in One Piece, has it? Sealing your Haki in somebody else?
No, but honestly, one of the things that makes me think about more is black blades. And I know it's kind of a weird connection, but we've been trying to figure out for a while. It's like, how is a black blade created? Usually blades turn black when you imbue them with Haki. So I guess black blades, at least what my theory is now, is they turn black when you permanently imbue Haki into them. So like with Shisui's sword, or not Shisui, with Ryuma's sword, he turned it into a black blade, and we see 400 years later it's still like that, and we're still using his Haki. So I wonder if Mihawk did the same with his blade Yoru. So
This could also be a connection for like cursed blades, right? Because like maybe they're cursed because somebody tried to imbue their Haki in it, but like was unsuccessful in making it fully a black blade.
Or maybe they did it accidentally also. Like maybe these swordsmiths weren't trying to imbue Haki, but some of it just slipped in there to like test the users who were using it.
Right.
So I don't know. And I wonder what else you can start applying Haki to. Like, is somebody gonna make like a Haki grenade? They get like a rock imbue with Haki, throw it at people, just boom, it explodes in an area.
I mean, that's pretty much what the Iron Giant did right here, right? This was like Joyboy's Haki. So this also scaling wise, right? If we're gonna give this Iron Giant that this was Joyboy's Haki, right? We gotta say that Joyboy's Haki is pretty damn strong, at least like Yonko level, right? Or at least Admiral.
Oh, easily.
You know?
I mean, he just took out 5 Gorosei and scared the shit out of Imu.
Yeah.
Like, this is some of the. I think this is the strongest Haki we've seen, like, all series.
For sure. Yeah. I think it's hard to like definitively put it because it's like you said, like maybe he just did this and it deactivated something that the Gorosei were doing, and it wasn't necessarily like taking them out or whatever.
Yeah, because they don't really look injured when they get back either. Like, they look tired, but they just kind of look like, oh, damn, we lost type thing.
Right.
But like no like scratches and bruises, which I guess still makes sense, right? Like they have the regenerative power, so they probably wouldn't have many scratches and bruises anyways. Like we saw Saturn have a billion holes in his body last time, and now he's just standing in front of the Iron Giant, like
and
chilling.
You know what? Actually, I also just saw was when I'm looking back at this page is that the reason that Mars is sitting down is because he was already there. He wasn't one of the people that got attacked by this Conqueror's Haki, because remember, he got like yeeted away by Luffy, and so I guess that was so strong that he was just like, screw it, like I'm not going back. I don't
know if it was screw it, I'm not going back. I think he couldn't go back,
or
I
he got yeeted all the way back to the castle.
Strong.
Yeah, he might have. So that's, you know, putting Luffy on that level too, almost, is like he got a good hit on Mars, and Mars is already here chilling at the castle as this circle opens back up in Marijois and lets the other 3 back in. So it's a very interesting little connection.
But Joyboy's Haki is crazy. But actually, one other thing about imbuing Haki that I was thinking about is I wonder if, besides imbuing Haki into objects, I mean, we can tell Emma is a living thing, right? So I wonder if later in the series, maybe Luffy imbues his Haki into his entire crew, into all the Straw Hats, kind of like how, spoiler alert for Naruto, how Naruto did with the nine-tailed fox.
Yeah, it's getting very Naruto.
Nine-tailed fox, like, I mean, I just see a lot of parallels to the series in this chapter.
For sure.
But how he kind of gave everybody some of his chakra, I wonder if Luffy can do that with his Haki. And maybe that's what's going to help some of the Straw Hats overpower some of like the Blackbeard pirates who have all these strong devil fruits. Like, as of right now, it's like, how are some of the weaker Straw Hats going to fight anyone from the Blackbeard pirates who have these crazy devil fruits? Like, they're just not going to be able to hit them or do anything. But if Luffy kind of gives him some of his Haki, then I wonder if it's going to, 1, either just make them strong enough to fight them, or 2, have them awaken their own Haki because they understand, like, oh, this is the power we're missing. This is what I need to do to win.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we saw it with Bonnie, right? Like, I mean, granted, she has a very special power, but I think that kind of opens the door of possibility to potentially being able to give the Straw Hats their abilities. I personally, like, wouldn't like that as much. I feel like maybe a minor power up, but I do like the idea of the Straw Hats, like, coming into their own and them having their own storylines that make them strong. And I think it's always kind of been the case that the Straw Hats, like, believing in Luffy has made them stronger, but just not as directly as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or maybe it's reverse. It's like a Dragon Ball thing where people imbue more of their Haki into Luffy. They lift their arms in the air, they give him his energy, and then he does one final punch to take out Imu or some shit.
I mean, think about this. That is kind of what happened when Luffy first went Gear 5. Like, when Kaido was telling everybody, hey, Luffy's dead, give up, and then Nami comes out and is like, no, fuck you. Luffy's, like, she's crying, even though, like, you know, in her heart she probably, like, thinks that Luffy's dead. They're all feeling that, you know, Law is like, oh my god, his Haki went away, but then his crewmates still believed in him, and she had to kind of, I don't know if, I think it was her to Chopper, or Chopper already believed it or something. Like, all the crewmates were like, nah, Luffy will be the Pirate King, and they were really making that a point at Onigashima for the crew to say, like, we believe in Luffy. And like, when Nami screamed like that, that's when he got back up. So it's like, that is kind of true, is when they believe in him, that's what fuels him. And then when he believes in them, look what happened with Bonnie. Like, she got up and got his powers. So like, belief is totally like a big part of it.
And I completely agree with that. Like, we saw it way earlier in the series too. Like, just think back to Water 7 when Luffy's fighting Rob Lucci and he's like losing, he can't move anymore. And then Usopp takes off his mask. I mean, Sogeking takes off his mask. And then Usopp somehow appears there. And then he's like, Luffy, I believe in you. You got this. You're not going to lose. And Luffy's like, you're right. And then he just gets back up and beats the shit out of Lucci.
Yeah, dude.
So I think that's true. I think people's belief in Luffy is going to constantly make him stronger. And once the entire world believes in him, that's when he's going to be able to take down either Blackbeard or Imu, whoever the final boss ends up being.
Yeah. I mean, that's also why they wanted to, you know, eradicate the Buccaneers, because they believed, you know, like, just the belief in itself is what fuels it. And I think the Gorosei and Imu both know this, and that's why they're so shook. He's so shook here.
That's probably why they're trying to take out all of their allies, because, hey, if these are the people that believe in him, if we destroy that belief, then there's going to be no power there to fight.
Right. And they're doing it in a very, like, secretive, segregated way, to where, like, there's never going to even be an inclination that Nika even exists. They hid it for so long. But now it's like undeniable, and this is the moment that's telling the world. So it's a really, we're at a pivotal moment in One Piece for sure. And I kind of want to talk about now, just at the end of this, like, where do we go from here? So I think that this flashback is, and I hope this is the case, that is a very short-lived flashback. I don't really want a long Joyboy flashback right now. I like seeing just this little blip, and at the end of the chapter you can see the black, you know, fading into white again in the background, which kind of indicates that we're back in the present. So I think in the next chapter, you know, we'll see whatever this standoff between Saturn and the Iron Giant will be, and who knows, like, I feel like it's weird, because unless something big happens at the island and the island, like, does go down, is there really a reason for the Straw Hats to leave? Like, why don't they just, like, turn around and they're like, oh my god, the Gorosei are gone, let's just leave Lilith here, and then you can, like, rebuild your empire? Or does she still want to, like, leave? You know what I mean?
Well, I thought about that too at first. I'm like, hey, if the big threats are not here, but you gotta remember, like, Kizaru, even though we haven't seen him in a while, he's still on the island. We still have a Buster Call going on. There's still these Vice Admirals who, granted, are not the strongest, but they're still there. Plus, everything's kind of destroyed anyways. Like, does Lilith even have anything to do here? Like, I just think they're still gonna escape. I don't really see them being like, oh, I guess we can just walk back onto the island.
It's like an easier escape now too, though. So there's not like as much of a rush to get the hell out of here. I mean, now, okay, so here's another thing, is that now Kizaru could probably get back up, right? Because there's a reason for him to be in the fight again, because there's no ally. Like, if they were to go all out, like, fighting allies versus enemies right now, dude, the allies would win, like, no problem. You know what I mean? Like, all the Gorosei are gone. That's all the threats. Like, all they have to worry about now is beating one Gorosei member, and they have to figure out the regeneration, but they're still on an escape mission.
I mean, yes, but also, who's to say Saturn can't just resummon all the Gorosei also? Like, I just don't know if it's a smart idea from them to just stay. And it's also just not Oda style to just be like, hey, we left an island, let's just go back to it immediately. Right. I'm pretty sure we're just, like, we said a few chapters ago, we're like, hey, there's probably like 3 to 4 more chapters. I think we're still on that train. It looks very close to being the end of this. They're all on their ships getting ready to leave. And I think this was a chapter where it's, hey, look, we kind of not beat the enemy, but we held them off long enough where we can escape now.
Well,
and I don't really
I'll say
see
this
the need
one
to go
thing
back.
about the fact that there still needs to be danger on the island, because I feel like even though some of the danger has been dissolved, there's an opportunity here to do what we thought was going to happen before the Gorosei got here and before it got this crazy, is that now that they're all gone, maybe Imu fires the bomb now, and that's what kind of ends it off and, you know, finishes off this island. Who knows? Like, I don't know if they're gonna
my thought process behind that is he can't do that because he doesn't have the power to do it. Otherwise, why not just do that from the beginning? Like, why go through all of this stuff?
Because they wanted to keep the Mother Flame. I mean, like, what if they have
they still want
charge?
to, right? Like, why wouldn't they still want to? It's still there. They didn't destroy that.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe to kill Joyboy. Who knows? We'll see in the next chapter, because the best thing about this chapter, no break next week.
We love
it. Let's go.
We're hyped.
Finally, we get another string of good chapters, but
Egghead continues to be 10 out of 10. Love this arc. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And as usual, fight us in the comments.
Fight us in the comments. Throw your theories down there too. This is a theory-packed chapter. You think this is Luffy? You think this is the Straw Hat or what?
Yeah, let us know.
All right, y'all.
But anyways, peace out.